everything around me. I got to start to feeling so low. And then I started thinking, yes I did, to just go down and check out the show. And they were dancing and singing and moving to the rhythm. And just when it hit me, somebody shouted out and shouted, play the funky music, white boy. Play the funky music, right? Play the funky music, white boy. Lay down the boogie and play the funky music tonight. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is Fatman InParadise, coming to you once again in paradise. Making a general nuisance of myself once more in front of the government building. Yeah, still there. Still ugly as, you know, as a used turd. And what's the difference between a used turd and a fresh turd? You don't want to know. Yeah, it's just get kind of tiresome trying to explain things to people sometimes, but there I am once again trying to make a point. I honestly believe people can actually learn. I've actually gotten some people to actually check out my statements and come back and apologize. The sad thing, it's all the trauma in between when they, try to get me arrested for hate speech, even though that's not in the law, but, I mean, but you know what? At least that's what they say. I'm like, come on, people, I don't care. There's a difference. Meanness, you actually have to have an emotional attachment, have it part of the equation. I don't. For the most part, not at least when it's other people's, how they behave with their shared lives, as long as it doesn't actually directly attack me. As the old saying goes, you can wave your fist around, just don't hit me in the face. Actually, just don't hit me, period, honestly. I'd rather not have another kidney shot like the Alaska the other day. He got what he deserved. But anyways, hey, how's it going? Today, I'm making a nuisance of myself. And actually, what I have on my sign on the other side, I didn't take a picture this time because I'm too lazy and running out of time. And honestly, it was a long freaking week. So my sign actually says CRT, BLM, and woke are racist ideologies. Yes, ideologies, not ideologies, because there's a difference. It's a personal word that I like using, and I've seen other people start using it. It is everything they like to say is on a spectrum. That is actually a true statement. Everything exists in it from negatives to extremes. Like I like to say, there are 5 parties in an argument. Those who are for, those who are against, those who are neutral, and the extremes. Give an example. Let's talk about the abortion rights. There are those who don't care. There are the pro-lifers. There are the pro-choicers. There are the pro-abortionists and the anti-abortionists. Each group is unique in itself. They do share traits with those on their side, but they are not exclusively one side. Well, exclusively nice people. The two groups in the middle tend to be more congenial and can actually have a type of interaction to the point where they can have compromises. It's the people in the middle, the people who don't care, you don't want to actually anger because you can actually have a problem once they join into the discourse. Because they tend to be the nice guys. Because as I've said before, and I'll say again, there are 3 things in this world you should truly be terrified. A mother's love, the courage of fools, and the anger of the kind. Your fragile phrases be afraid of the anger of a kind man. But I've met kind women who honestly truly terrify me when they get angry as well. The anger of a kind human. There we go. I like that one. A kind human. I know, I'm kind of splitting the hair when I'm actually one of the people who argue against splitting hairs. But yeah, this just generality kind of makes more sense in this argument, this particular statement. But anyway, when I was saying CRT, that tends to, going back to what I said before, CRT stands for critical race theory or critical race teachings. And I prefer to use it when I'm saying as critical race teachings because theory is a different lessons than what actual teachings are. Teaching is teaching how someone to think, and theory is teaching someone how a theory works. It is extremely different. It's like, an example. This is an example between two different types of ideology based on in the math. If Bobby has watermelons, three watermelons on one hand, and he has 6 watermelons in the other hand, what does Bobby have? Well, my favorite answer is big hands, but no honesty. 8. I think that's the number that I used. Anyway, now, in critical race teachings, they would say, if Billy, who is white, has 5 watermelon, and Bobby, who was black, only has 2, how much of a difference does racism make it so that Billy can only have as many that he has? That's the difference. It's teachings. They're also known as wokeism, as I prefer to call it, because it becomes an ideology when it goes into this level of, well, indoctrination. Ideology is when I refer to as the extreme level of ideology. There's there's the anti-theist, atheist, agnostic, ideological, and ideological. Ideological are the people that you turn off you over religions, of that particular religion especially. Have you ever meet them? I've met many atheists that have turned me off of being anti-theism. I mean, holy crap, I literally cannot, they made me so angry in the way they behave that I never even wanted to associate with I had my own identity associated with the idea of anti-theism in any way, shape, or form, or even atheism. They poison the well for me. And that's one of the things that happens a lot with this type of theorem. Same thing happens with BLM. That's the second thing I have on my sign. BLM is also, I honestly state, is a racist ideology. Because you're not able to do anything else out of it. That's another quote, a state of ideology. This is where cults tend to reside in ideological makeup spectrum. These individuals are used in horrendous ways that are truly just abusive. And they can't realize it because they're stuck in an abusive cycle. Like many people who understand that, it's really saddening when you realize it. Trying to show that they're being abused. What was it? Was it Frederick Douglass who said, "I freed the slaves, but I could have freed so many more if they only realized that they were still enslaved." I understand that idea. I met so many people who just can't get past the idea of one thing or another. Like, why wouldn't someone want to have firearms? Really easy to protect oneself because they have been called the great equalizer for generations, honestly. When women became more independent in the 70s to now, and have the feminist movement to the point where they became CEOs and other large business-controlled individuals, you end up having, on average, women are physically weaker than men. There are the exceptions to this rule. China, the wrestler, Gina Carano, the actress. Good Lord. I'm sorry. I'm one of those guys who likes beefy women. And I mean beefy, not fat. I mean, they look like Amazons. Oh, yes. Sad thing is, they come up to me and I'm like a squeak toy. Like, wait. I get so freaking nervous. They're hot. But yeah. Jeez, Lord. If you don't know, back in the 90s, there was a female wrestler who actually competed in the Men's Wrestling Federation against men quite often, and she was actually slandered and libeled against by many news agencies, saying that she was a man who had just had gender reassignment surgery when she had not. She did have plastic surgery when she did to become an adult because as a young woman, she had excess of testosterone in her system, which is the reason why she had high twitch muscle strength, high muscle density, high speed muscle twitch strength, high speed muscle twitch reaction. That's the word I'm looking for. And a much more taller and denser skeletal structure. This is very rare syndrome and usually kills the woman who has it. And she was very lucky to live to adulthood, and she did eventually die of cancer, but she did live a whole life where she had a career and it was very sad. That was one of her fans, because not only was she, well, hot, but she was also a good wrestler. As in the physical acting that goes into that type of show. And I salute her and those who worked with her, and I thank her family for helping her in that career during her time. But that is an example of the exception to the rule, not the rule. The exception proves the rule. That's the one thing people need to learn about this, is that because she's there, it proves that the rule exists. Most women don't fit in that category and never will. So with the situations like that, the differences are highly, well, part of our DNA. And people want to argue different for that. You're welcome to argue with a freaking rock in your own cells, but you know what? I'm pretty sure you're going to change your mind before the cell does. Unless you get cancer. Which I honestly don't wish on you, but seriously, people, it's not going to happen. It's not going to help, not going to change anything. But with BLM and CRT, it teaches people to be racist. Here's an example. They always teach that white people always have a leg up. That literally is the basis of white supremacist idealism. All ideology from KKK to, well, any of them. From, the little Nazi guy, the non-CNI guy, from Germany, who happens to be, looking for Kyle. Yeah, he's looking, if you have seen Kyle, only a certain height. And, always looking for people like that. And those people honestly think, yeah, they agree with the BLM and the CRT guys, that you actually have to be, white people actually have all these advantages. Legally speaking, not so much. Now, as their cultural institutions, yeah. And when they do it, how you fix that? You don't attack them. You protest, yeah, but here's the thing. You take them in front of the Better Business Bureau and go, hey, these people are breaking the law. Tim Pool, there's an entire example on one of Tim Pool's podcasts where he actually goes deep into it. 1 second. There we go. Making sure you all hear me right. 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Yeah, that is right. Tim Pool did an example of what to do in those situations if someone decides to start trying to insist on CRT in your workplace. The moment they say white people or white guilt or whiteism, well, tell them they're being racist. The moment they keep going, saying things like this, you're going to report them to the HRIC, which is the human rights violation, and they'll continue. Then you calmly walk out and go to your HR, tell them that they're being racist, that they're promoting white ideology and white supremacist ideas, and you need to go and you're going to file an HRIC, and 99 times out of 10, not 100, 10, we're going to actually try to solve it right away and stop it. If they don't, then you just actually file the actual HRIC complaint. I think it's HRIC. The actual human rights violation complaint. I'll throw them for their freaking wolves. Yeah, you're probably going to get fired, but then you're going to give you money for it because they violated your civil liberties. Because doing that, this ideology being pushed forward in schools and in businesses is illegal. And the only thing is, we have a restrictive government, a descriptive. We tell people what they can't do in the way that the government's supposed to work. The thing is, the only way that works is if people actually stand up and say, hey, that's freaking wrong! If no one has the guts to do that, bad guys keep working, winning and getting away with it, and will do so until the end of time. As the old saying goes, evil only has one thing to be able to win. Good men to do nothing. And men in that situation is mankind. So, say something. Be brave. Tell them to, no, that's illegal. And when they say assert otherwise, sue them. And I know 16 different lawyers, you can find them online, tell them that they are doing a CRT and that it's illegal, and they will happily help you do it pro bono. Because they know they're going to get a payout out of it. Because it is illegal. And the moment that court case happens in your state, suddenly they have no rights to be able to do it. As soon as you win, they can't do it in that state anymore. We don't have to do it federally. We can do it in court cases in each state and make it so that none of this racist ideology can be taught in schools, in businesses, as long as people stand up and tell them, no, get bent. You can do that thing is you have to be brave, you have to be strong. I don't have one of those jobs. I'm a freaking gun. I got to think of this ideology coming into workplaces, but I decided to go work for myself, and now I've been told by the government, no, you can't work. Hey, Iggy, get your sticky. Honestly, I'm just so sick and tired of it that I honestly really don't know what to do. Actually, no, I know what I'm going to do. I've actually teamed up with several individuals to start moving political gears in place. Don't be surprised if you actually learn the private identity of the actor who is behind most of the bizarre circus. So funny, you still probably won't be able to find his address. But only if my plans actually work out. If that actually works out, then yeah, people will get to know me, and I probably will still go by this moniker here, because it does keep my identity separate of the primary actor and myself. What else? Yeah, that's going to be about it right this second. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk about a couple of what was going on on the news. Breaking news. U.S. commits airstrikes. U.S. carriers carry out airstrikes against Iran-backed militia in Iraq. Holy crap. Reuters. Oh, wow. That's, it crashed. But yeah, apparently, looks like we might be having World War III now. People wonder why I didn't want Biden. Oh yeah, we're gonna go against Syria and Libya. Libya's already destroyed because of Clinton. You understand that these people are actually doing everything that needs to be done to propagate slavery and all these wonderful things that America has worked for over 100 years to get rid of, ever since Abraham Lincoln. I honestly don't know what to do. Except for keep moving forward. As my shirt says, nobody cares, but I like to add a little phrase, until you do. If you want the world to change, you need to be the one to change. You need to be the change in the world that you want. If you want everything to be as it is, well, then keep it there. But keep in mind, we're all going to be, unless we do what's right, we're all going to be fighting over what's left. Because that's what happens when you have to choose from left and right. It should be one thing, a compromise in between. But the situation, what's going on here, is everyone's fighting each other, being able to do anything that's actually proper compromise between the two different belief systems. We can't do it. It's going to fall apart like this, and I really, really don't want that to happen. So, as I have said before, I have cleared my lines, I've readied my tools, and I've got like 2 months worth of food put away if I need it for emergency purposes. And I'm currently building a water filtration system that's solar powered. If I can actually get it to work properly, I'm going to put the designs up on the internet and ask for donations. But yeah, that's going to be it for right this second. Oh yeah, Biden. Did anyone? That's what's something funny and creepy at the same time. Anyone else hear Biden do ASMR in the middle of one of his interviews? And when they actually forgot to take him off stage, they asked him questions about different militias in the United States, and he says, hey, we're going to be able to do it. We're going to give them the money. And like giving money to people who hate you is not going to change their mind from hating you. I despise you, Biden. I'm taking your money and I'm spending on things that you don't want me to do. Why? Because I am a freaking free enterprises. You're going to give me money, I'm going to take it. I'd rather work for it. I really rather would, honestly. But you know what? I'm here. Why don't I leave? Well, and honestly, there's a couple of reasons. Primarily the first is I love this land, this island, and I don't want it to go. I don't want it to crash and burn. So I'm going to fight for it as long as I can. And if that falls in spite of my actions, then I won't live with regret for it because I have actually tried. And I'm trying. And they're trying my patience. But I learned a long time ago, if you don't have enough patience, you end up being a patient. So in part, I wish everyone to prepare for everything that you can. If you have an idea of what you can do, if you're a parent and you have the ability, you should homeschool your children, especially nowadays. If you're someone who cares about your community and has the funds, start trying to organize get-togethers, even if it's just over something like Zoom. Personally, I'd recommend the Microsoft Meetings or conference call website. That's a freeware one thing. It's a conference call app that's on Android. It's okay, not great, but okay. Don't use Zoom if you can help it. Keep trying to get people I know to stop using it. Good Lord. Honestly, though, here's the thing. The rest of the government agencies are pushing the public to use Zoom. But here, my medical who's doing telehealth refuses to use Zoom. Get it? Because they don't want the information out there. What else? But yeah, get organized. Make your community where you are. Why? Because that's your power as an individual, as a citizen of this great nation. The ideas that were put forward in the founding documents are still there. And we can move forward together as a people for one nation. Eternally. All the way up to the top. As one. Because, honestly, I pray for all unity to one day be restored. So yeah, I think that's gonna be it for today. What else? Oh yeah, I had a couple of things I wanted to do today, but as I ran short today, and I literally have to get back to Illini right now. Well, I just wanted to complain about how, honestly, clowns are literally one of the most oppressed classes here in America. Seriously, people, we're flamboyant. LGBT guys, your freaking alphabet mafia keeps coming after us. We seriously are just a bunch of flamboyant people who like coloring our hair, wearing makeup, and having a good time. But no, you have to take our big shoes and stomp on us and say that we're creepy, even though we don't actually grab people, honestly, unless we're pulling something out of our hats, quite literally, and having a good time. And we don't actually squirt people with anything except for water from our flowers. Come on, people, back off. Let us have our own lane. We're just gonna have a little bit of fun. We probably won't even have an expensive year, but honestly, keep getting in our way. Keep in mind, we will have an expensive year and enjoy every last minute of it. And while you may take us out, we're gonna go squeaking all the way down. That was horrible. I love it. The great last squeak of defiance. Alright. So in party, always remember, play nice if you can, play smart if you can, and if you can't play smart, cheat, then run. And always. Viva Cristios. And vaya con Dios. Always.